I got involved in bowls at a young age, partly to hang out with my grandparents. When I was young, I lived with them for a few years and I wanted to spend time with them, so they went down to the club on weekends and I joined them and really hung around the lawn bowling club since about 6 years old. Over time, I started to play a little bit and got a chance to play with them, which was really the highlight of my young age of bowling for sure. Over time, I started to get better and joined the club at 12 years old. The club didn't really want to have a 12-year-old running around, sort of a precocious young child running around the club and bothering them. And my grandfather was the president of the club at the time. He said, "Oh, if you don't let my grandson join, I'm going to quit." And so they let me join. You start playing, and you're playing more frequently, and you're playing more often, and you start getting good. And then I went to the US Open in 1993, and that particular year there were players from about 10 different countries playing in it. And some of them were quite good. And I did well in the event, and I just saw bowls at a different level and playing against people that were much better than I normally played against.
David speaks on why the Milton Lawn Bowling Club is so important to him and how it made him feel right at home.
It's one of the first clubs, and no disrespect to any other club that I've been a member of, that actually embraced having me here. I'm a competitive bowler, and sometimes people don't want to have a competitive bowler play against them in a regular jitney or a club event. But they were the opposite. They relished the opportunity to play against me, and if they beat me, it was their highlight of the summer to a certain extent. They've been very supportive over the years of my successes. They had a fundraiser here in 2003, and they raised $900 for me to travel to Australia, and the whole club showed up, and I've never felt that kind of support from a club before. So Milton's been excellent in that respect. They're always interested in what I've done around the province or around the country for that matter.
David explains how he is feeling about being inducted into the Milton Sports Hall of Fame and how he hopes to help the next generation of lawn bowlers.
To a certain extent, a little bit of the ego comes in and going, "Oh, someone's recognizing me for my success," but it really wasn't about that, because I took a look at who had been inducted into the Hall of Fame, and obviously I was the first lawn bowler, and we're not necessarily a high-profile sport, so it was kind of cool to be recognized from a sport point of view, so that hopefully it promotes the game in some way. As the future, I'm going to retire in a couple of years probably, and the goal is, if we're still able to, me and my wife are going to hopefully go to some tournaments around in different places, maybe go to Australia or New Zealand or go back to the United States, things like that. But I'll never be far away from the game. But one of the things that I've always wanted to do in lawn bowls is give back. And I've been on different committees at different levels across the board in bowls in Canada, and I want to do that as well. I want to coach. I think I've got something to say to people to get them better, so that's one of my goals. I'm on the high performance committee for Canada, so I'm helping mold people who want to be representing the country to a certain extent, and so I want to continue with that.
For Halton News, I'm Jacob Moore.